I was never really afraid for my health until this week. Now, my diet has been healthy enough, and my annual 3-week fast detoxify my body of my unhealthy endeavors I accumulate over the year. In my mind, my health and my future are secure. However, this week I listened to one of the Diary of the CEO podcasts, and it frightened me. My future is not safe, not by a long shot. And this video is dedicated to pass on the knowledge that I've learned and the steps that I've taken to improve my future. So if you're in your 30s and 40s and you're starting to feel off, this video will help you understand why. Now, the beginning of this video was cryptic, I know, but it was meant to be. It is the reflection of what I felt watching that podcast. But first things first. If you have no idea who I am and what my channel is about, some introductions are in order. I'm Anne Basswood. My 30-year-long practice has been to fast for 3 or 6 weeks at a time. No solid food entering my body at that time. And through those years, I've made mistakes and breakthroughs, but one thing was constant. I lost weight every time I decided to do it, and I helped my body to reset by detoxifying it naturally. But once a week, every Friday to be exact, I also tell you how my project Mindful Eating has been going. And this is the review of week 8. This week, I stumbled upon a discussion between Steven Bartlett and 4 women doctors. Dr. Vonda Wright. She is an orthopedic surgeon. Then Dr. Natalie Crawford, fertility expert or specialist. Dr. Stacy Sims, exercise physiologist. And Dr. Mary Claire Haver. She is a menopause expert. And their discussion reversed my view on menopause, exercise, and hormones. Now, I'm not going into the specifics. First of all, since I can't properly pronounce the medical terms, and because the entire podcast is 5 hours long. But I can describe briefly what I found fascinating and how it affected my week. The first thing that it was interesting to me was that there is a difference between men and women on a cellular scale. Now, we should, and this is why we should also exercise differently. And their point was, women are not little men. The doctors also deliberated how intermittent fasting is not beneficial for our health in active women, because we should eat after a time-restricted eating to go with our circadian rhythm. Breakfast and stop eating in the afternoon. But if we're thinking about intermittent fasting, and what I also have been doing between my 3 to 6 week fasts, is that I usually skip breakfast and I start eating at around, 11. But they said that this was a mistake, because we should eat in the morning when we have a lack of energy and we need energy to function properly. And we don't need food in the afternoon when our body is winding down for the night and for rest. The doctors also talked about how we should keep an eye on our monthly cycle and adjust it to our exercising accordingly. Now, if I just take my example, and I know that in the first few days of my monthly cycle, I am not in my best mood or my best energy levels. So I can understand what they were talking about. And this also happens before my period begins. So in the last week or 2 weeks before my period, I am also experiencing some lower energy levels, and I also don't feel as well, and there's also PMS. And this is what the doctors were trying to tell us, that all women have these fluctuations of energy, not just during the cycle of our menstrual cycle, but every day and hourly we have this fluctuation of our hormones, which I found incredible. And then they also spoke about the endometriosis. And if you have watched this channel for a bit, you know that I have also struggled with endometriosis and with trying to conceive. And I was having IVF treatments for 4 years before I was able to conceive. And to this day, I still believe that 2 things helped alongside with the IVF procedure. And the first thing was that 3 things actually helped. The first thing was that I cleared my body of artificial hormones because of the IVF procedures. The second thing was let's say I flushed my body of stress. And this might sound really strange, but I was really stressed. And if you know somebody who is going, or you are going through the IVF procedures, you know that these procedures are very, very stressful. It's not necessarily that the procedures are stressful, but the time when you are waiting if you are pregnant or not, those times and those weeks are really stressful. And it helped me to reset my thinking, and it helped me to start thinking about other things, not just about how I am unable to conceive. And the third thing that I think that helped immensely was my 6-week fast, because endometriosis is a very, very, very difficult disease, what I've heard from this podcast. And I think that I stopped it, or not just stopped it, but flushed it out with my prolonged fasting for long enough to be able to conceive. And this is something that I am deeply confident in. And after a month or 2 months after I finished my prolonged fast, 6-week prolonged fast, I was able to conceive with the help of the IVF. So this is my story very shortly. Endometriosis is very dangerous, and is even dangerous in the later years, like I am now, because I'm not trying to conceive when I am 46, but it does tend to cause inflammation in our lives. And the doctors, all of the doctors that were on the podcast, they tried to explain to us how important food is and when we need to eat it. And these are fruits and vegetables based diets with some meat. Now, if you would like to know more, I can focus on the subject at another video and cover the topic properly. So let me know down in the comments. But yeah, this is something that was really interesting to me, that we can influence the endometriosis and the effects of it with food. So fruits and vegetables based diets and some meat. Then they also spoke about perimenopause, which is something that I am probably in now. And the first thing that comes to women's minds when they enter into perimenopause is, I just don't feel like myself. I have problems with my energy, memories fading, I have irregular periods. I did have irregular periods for the last year 2 times. It was, I was without my period for 2 months, and there were different lengths of it and different flow. I have stiffness in my knees. And the women also talked about the hormones and the importance of the hormones. Now, I know how hormones are important, but I didn't know the extent of it. So how important is estrogen, how it is forming, how it impacts our bones. And the problem with bones in menopause is that women lose it more than men. And we have fragile bones, osteoporosis, and hip fractures. 30% of us die in the first year when we have hip fractures. It's incredible. And then they spoke about muscle support for the bones. And when we fall and our muscles and to prevent our fall, or even when we fall, that our muscles must be strong enough to prevent the fall entirely or dampen the hit to our bones, and how important it is to build muscle in the golden decades. The golden decade is between 35 and 45. This was very interesting for me because I am just finishing, no, I have finished my golden decade, but I really got scared because I know that my muscles are not strong enough to support me if I fall. And their message was how we should exercise to build muscles and to build bone, and how we are not exercising properly, because we should be exercising 80% of the maximum heart rate. There, if I understood them correctly, their message was that if we wanted to build muscle and if we wanted to build bone, which is very important for the estrogens and for our hormones and our brittle bones, that we should exercise such that we have 80% of the maximum heart rate. When we are exercising, we have to achieve 80% of the maximum heart rate. And they also talked about Pilates and all of those, all of those exercises that women go to in the gyms, and how it is not beneficial for them if they're trying to build bone and if they're trying to build muscle. So my action. I've listened to countless successful people and they all say the same thing. If you want to get ahead in business, start shortening the time between information and action. And I started playing around with the thought of joining a gym in the last week. And this was very strange to me because I have never been to a gym. I have never lifted weights. I hate exercising. And if you watched any of my previous videos, I think that I said that exercise does not influence weight loss that much, that if you want to lose weight, you need to have your diet in check. But I was frightened now, and why I was thinking about joining a gym is because I wanted to build muscle and not be fragile when it comes to bone loss. So my idea was that I needed to join a gym. And on Thursday, I had my, monthly massage of my back, and I was speaking to my masseuse, and he said that was a wonderful idea and that I should do it. And I came home and spoke with my husband, and I said, he always looks at me funny when I said, "Hon, we need to talk about something." And the last time that I did this, we bought our Goldie, our golden retriever, so he was not happy when I used that tone with him. But I explained to him what was the problem and what my fears are, and he was all in. And that was on Friday. On Monday, we joined the gym. And on Monday, I was also exhausted, and I had my first day of period, and I just hoped that if we're joining a gym that I won't have to exercise that day. And we didn't. On Wednesday, I had a welcome session with the owner, and he talked about food and how we should exercise, and he took me around all of the machines and showed us a little bit how we can use them. And on Thursday, I was at the gym. And I'll tell you what, I loved it. And the only thing that I stressed about is what we're going to do with the kids, because my first priority is my kids and my family life. So on Saturday, we went to the gym together. And I was shocked that I didn't have any problems with the kids. They were thrilled that they could be on the, on the treadmill, that they could push some weights and everything like that. So I was pleasantly surprised. So now the gym became basically our family time. And I'm so happy that that my fears were not, as bad, and they were not, they didn't come true when it came to we're not going to spend as much time with the kids, because now we can spend the time together. So if you're going through menopause and you've been feeling like you're not yourself, I get it. And the good news, you can feel strong again. You can be yourself again. So let's keep learning and moving through this together. And if you're interested what you can do to feel better before the year runs out, I suggest starting with your nutrition, because I did. And you can watch my journey and struggles in the Mindful Eating series next. And that's it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And I'll see you again in the next video.